Just, I'll try it again. Good evening and welcome to the Town Board of the Town of Austin regular meeting for Tuesday, April 12th, 2022. I will ask our Town Councilman Greg Meyer to please lead us in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic
which is
and
one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty
and justice for all. Thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Feldman is not here. Councilmember Meyer. Councilmember Manicchio. Sorry. And then Councilmember Fields Towell is not here as well. And then Supervisor Levenberg.
I am here virtually. Okay, so first up on our agenda is our public hearing on our draft comprehensive plan. This is a continuation of our public hearing. The updated draft was posted to the town's website yesterday, as well as shared via email blast and social media. If you would like to speak about the comprehensive plan, please raise your virtual hand, state your name and address when you are called upon, and you'll have 4 minutes to address the board. And yeah.
Jamie, is that you? And so allowed to speak if you want to mute yourself.
Yes, that's me.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, in reviewing the comprehensive plan and looking at the old draft, when I took a look at page 26, there was something that said that we needed to look further into, and that was the median owner-occupied home values in the unincorporated area of Austin decreasing by 10% versus the 5% in Westchester. And the suggestion in the plan was that we really needed to explore that further to determine what factors were causing the decrease. Additionally, when you take a look at the census data, it suggests that we're going to be in a difficult place if we think about expanding sort of this missing middle housing, understanding that it typically accommodates younger people and people who are going to be starting or already have and growing a family. And when you take a look at the population and households by age, and we compare some of our household data to Briarcliff, to Cortland, to Croton-on-Hudson, we're in a situation where we have a population segment that's growing at a rate that's greater than in those other municipalities. And so I'm very concerned about trying to address this missing middle and creating an overpopulation problem and a further stress on the school system. I think if we look at this missing middle, it almost suggests that if we're going to create kind of a solution to it, that we look to create kind of the smaller footprint dwellings, but have them be designed and accommodate the seniors. So that way we can price them higher, and then we can inspire seniors to move out of the large houses. Because the other thing that the census data shows, and this is a point that Dana brought up, is that we have a lot of seniors who are very excited to be here, a town they grew up in, community they love, family nearby, but they're not moving out of their bigger houses. So this, the census is a very exciting document, and it really does provide a lens on the things that we need to look at to determine sort of how we're growing up and where we're going to potentially go. The other thing that I think we potentially need to re-explore, because putting a kid in school is, you all know, and Dana really knows, is extremely expensive. So years ago, the Briarcliff School District, I think, wanted to grab a part of the unincorporated area to be able to try to support a declining population in their school system. And I think Croton is probably going to have the same issue. So because this is a far-reaching document, I think a couple of things need to be embraced here, and that is, with this additional opportunity for housing that may be able to be constructed in some of this open space that we have, that we like I said, we look at who we're going to put in it and why we're going to put them there.
Your time is up. Thank you.
You can adjust the rest of your comments in writing, Jamie, okay? So just send us the remainder of your comments, please. Either you can send them to Stu Donnelly, Town Clerk, or you can send them to the TC at townofAustin.com. Is there anybody else here for the public hearing to address the board about the comprehensive plan? Please raise your virtual hand and we will recognize you.
Okay, Ian London, you are allowed to talk. Unmute yourself, and you have 4 minutes to address the board.
Thank you very much. I don't know if you can see me, probably not. This comprehensive plan that you're discussing.
I'm sorry, excuse me, Mr. London, can you just say your name and your address where you live, please?
Ian London, and my address is 9 Tavano Road. And I was asked by the local neighbors to express some concern about a development project that's here locally. And I don't know if now is the appropriate time to do it. I know this wasn't on your agenda and you've opened up the comments to people, but I missed.
This is just specifically for the comprehensive plan. At the end of our meeting, you can address the board on any subject whatsoever.
Oh, thank you very much. I will lower my hand. Okay, bye.
Is there anybody else here to address the board on the comprehensive plan? Going once, going twice. Great. In that case, may I have a motion to adjourn the public hearing to our April 26th meeting? We're going to keep open the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Thank you so much. All right, I have a few announcements. I am zooming into our meeting this evening because yesterday I tested positive for COVID-19. I am not feeling great, as you may be able to hear, but thanks to being vaccinated and boosted, I know that my symptoms are a lot better than they could have been if I hadn't taken those precautions. We're definitely seeing case numbers tick up locally and throughout the country, so please remember to exercise caution, wear your mask when at all possible, and especially in crowds. Get vaccinated and boosted if you haven't already. And most importantly, get tested and stay home if you're not feeling well. OVAC continues to offer free testing on Mondays and Fridays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and free vaccines and boosters from 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. We may also be able to hand out more tests in the near future. We are figuring out how best to distribute them to those in need and also to keep our staff safe, and we will keep you posted. I also wanted to just comment on the horrific incident that took place this morning in the New York City subway systems in Brooklyn. We are all traumatized, and our hearts and our prayers go out to victims and their families, the first responders, and everybody who had to experience that situation this morning. And I know that it is far-reaching. We are all just needing to not only remain vigilant about any potential distractions in our present moment that may look untoward, but gun violence is a scourge that we need to stay focused on it at the federal level. We need to do everything we can to make it easier for people to sleep soundly at night, to be able to commute to work, go see friends, and all of the other things that people do without thinking twice about it, taking our subway systems and any other form of transportation. And I know that if we all stick together and work hard at these issues, that we can also overcome. So I hope that we all will continue to work together. April is Earth Month. So happy Earth Month, everybody. And this week in the supervisor's update, we highlighted the 11th annual Riverkeeper Sweep, which is scheduled for Saturday, May 7th, with events throughout the Hudson Valley, including multiple spots in Ossining and close by along the Old Croton Aqueduct. You can find all the locations and easy access to registration on the Riverkeeper website, and possibly Green Ossining also has a link. They're co-sponsoring a few. There are opportunities at Ryder Park with the Habitat Stewards, at the Gerlach Park entrance to the aqueduct, the Quaker Bridge entrance to the aqueduct near the Unique area, Engel and Gordine Parks along the shoreline, and the Sing Sing Kill starting at the old DPW garage area. Register now to help with shoreline park and streamside cleanup of invasives and litter. You can go to riverkeeper.org and scroll down to Westchester and then click on your desired park to sign up. Also super important for Earth Month, mark your calendars for April 23rd for the return of the Green Ossining Earth Day Festival from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., rain or shine. It is sure to be a great return to in-person festivities, and we cannot wait. There will be lots of opportunities for you to give your input on ways that we can all improve our environment and learn a little too, with music, education, earth-friendly vendors, food and beverages. You should definitely mark it in ink, environmentally friendly ink, on your calendars, if anybody even uses ink on their calendars anymore. And that is it for my announcements. Are there any other announcements from my board colleagues? All right, seeing none. I'm going to go into our administrative update. Last week, we had two important meetings with our state partners, starting with a meeting with the New York State DOT to discuss flooding and safety issues along Route 9A in the town of Ossining. These issues are complex, but we had a very productive conversation, and we are hopeful that we will be able to make meaningful progress on these important areas of mutual concern. Our highway superintendent, Pete Connolly, has been in touch with NISDOT's maintenance team, and last Sunday, and staff permitting, every Sunday after that, NISDOT's maintenance crews will be working along Route 9A, repairing guardrails and potholes. I know there's been a lot of questions about the pothole repair. Now that the weather has broken, we're hopeful that we will see the roads getting repaired after the winter wear and tear. They usually have to wait for the places to open. Places, all I can come up with is places. COVID brain. In any case, on Friday, we had a meeting at the waterfront with representatives from DEC's Hudson River Estuary Program to discuss phase 2 of the Climate Adaptive Design Studio. The town and village of Ossining were host communities for the first phase of this innovative program in 2019, which pairs communities with Cornell University graduate landscape architecture students to envision more resilient Hudson River waterfronts. We are awarded a grant last fall for phase 2, which brings a professional design firm on board to bring the visionary student designs to the next level. We anticipate having more information about phase 2 of this exciting project at the Earth Day Festival and more community engagement events coming up. In the meantime, we invite residents to view the project website from the first phase, which has a link posted in a supervisor's update to learn more about the program and in anticipation of public engagement very soon. During the month of April, town staff are receiving refresher training on CPR at OVAC to renew our certifications. Thank you to OVAC Captain Nick Franzoso and OVAC trainers for helping us keep up our certification. Make sure that we remember what to do in an emergency and for making it fun. And that is it for my reports. Does either of my board colleagues have a liaison report to share?
No.
All right. Seeing and hearing none. we are now up to, this is still not the point for public comment on anything. This is for public comment on agenda items only. So anything that you see that's on the agenda, which you would like to comment on. So Mr. London, you're still going to have to wait a little bit longer. Okay, hopefully we're going to get through this pretty quickly, and then we'll have an opportunity for visitor recognition on any topic whatsoever. With that, I will turn it over to Martha Kutasaka to take us through the board resolutions. Seeing no public comment.
Thank you. Approval of minutes, regular meeting, March 22nd, 2022. Resolved that the town board of the town of Austin hereby approves the March 22nd, 2022 minutes of the regular meeting as presented.
Motion,
Second.
all in favor? Aye. Anybody
Sorry,
opposed?
Martha, before you start the next one, Councilman Meyer wasn't at the special meeting, which is resolution B, so I think we should probably table that till the next meeting.
Okay, so,
And
so
that
table
is, okay. Table resolution B.
table B. Okay. Do we still have to do a motion and a second for that, Christy?
No, we'll just put it over.
Okay. Okay, so approval of voucher detail report, April 12th, 2022. Resolved that the town board of the town of Austin hereby approves the voucher detail report dated April 12th, 2022 in the amount of $730,641.09.
Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Okay. Agreement CSCA Employee Benefit Fund. Resolved that the town board of the town of Austin authorizes the supervisor to sign a renewal agreement with CSCA Employee Benefit Fund, Latham, New York 12110 for vision benefits for town of Austin employees and dependents from January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2026.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Anybody opposed?
Contract Westchester County Department of Senior Programs and Services. Resolved that the town board of the town of Austin authorizes the supervisor to sign an agreement with the Westchester County Department of Senior Program and Services for the purposes of receiving grant funds not to exceed $49,309 under the expanded in-home services for the elderly program year 2021, beginning April 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2021.
Motion,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? And Martha, I'm gonna ask you if you would be so kind as to call for the motions, since my voice is.
Oh, yeah, I was about to, and that's like, also, I just had a quick question. Is that supposed to be 2021 or 2022, Victoria?
2021, it's a backdated.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to double check. Okay, got it. Contract extension, community center kitchen renovations. Resolved that the town board of the town of Austin authorizes the supervisor to sign the second amendment to an agreement with Westchester County for renovations to the Joseph J. Caputo Community Center Kitchen to extend the expiration date from February 25th, 2022 to July 31st, 2022. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Is there any discussion or any questions? We're happy that this project is moving forward, but we do need more time, and we're happy that that has been granted to us as long as we apply for it via the county. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Thanks.
Calling for a public hearing in the matter of a local law known and cited as prohibition on release of balloons and sky lanterns. Resolved that the town board of the town of Austin hereby calls for a public hearing to be held on Tuesday, April 26, 2022 at 7:30 p.m. in the first floor boardroom at the Austin Municipal Building, 16 Croton Avenue, Austin, New York, 10562, and via Zoom video conferencing, which information will be available at www.townofaustin.com in the matter of a local law known and cited as prohibition on release of balloons and sky lanterns. Do I have a motion?
Second.
So as you know, the town board has been discussing this, and we will have, I guess, the local law posted soon for review, and then look forward to the public hearing being open soon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Resolution regarding New York, New Jersey Watershed Protection Act, HR 4677. Whereas New York Congressman Tonka has proposed a New York, New Jersey Watershed Program Act, a unique federal investment program to authorize $50 million of federal funds to protect and restore all watersheds, including the Hudson River watershed that flow into New York, New Jersey Harbor. And whereas the act has unanimous supporting among the Hudson Valley's congressional delegation, and whereas the act could provide benefits to diverse stakeholders such as the protection of fisheries and wildlife, conservation of natural resources, and public and private lands critical urban green spaces, ocean and coastal resources, and various opportunities to improve the quality of life for community members throughout the region. And whereas the town of Austin is part of the most densely populated and economically important regions of the country, the proposed New York-New Jersey Watershed Act will provide enormous economic and environmental benefits locally, regionally, and nationally. And whereas watersheds provide drinking water, tourism, and outdoor recreation, economic opportunities, as well as sustain fisheries, critical wildlife, and provide vital infrastructure from flooding and rising sea levels. And whereas the act will provide matching funds to achieve the goals of New York State Department of Environmental Conservation's Hudson River Estuary Program, a state program that has greatly benefited Hudson Valley communities. And whereas the act would fund shoreline management and restoration within the watersheds. And whereas as an elected body tasked with protection and safeguarding irreplaceable water connected resources and nature-based flood hazard mitigation measures that are essential to protect human life and infrastructure. And whereas this act would direct the Secretary of the Interior to enhance collaboration and coordinate restoration activities at all levels of government to protect fish and wildlife habitats, endangered species, improve water quality, increase public access to the estuary, mitigate flood risk, and develop public outreach and educational activities. And whereas many residents of the region of the New York, New Jersey watershed live in communities lacking environmental justice, where access to and enjoyment of fish, wildlife, clean water, and other natural resources have been impaired or compromised, federal funding is necessary to mitigate these long overdue environmental and social issues. And whereas the town of Austin will benefit from the act, as it would establish beneficial programs and award grants to help fund valuable restoration projects in our local community. And whereas the Hudson River is a cornerstone in which its residents depend on, and the region relies on it for its resources to provide prosperity throughout the state. Therefore, the town of Austin must uphold its duty to protect the community's access to drinking water and natural resources. And whereas the town of Austin has an opportunity to be a social and environmental leader of the state by supporting the New York, New Jersey Watershed and Protection Act. We may lead by example and facilitate much needed change. And now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Austin supports the passing of the New York, New Jersey Watershed Protection Act. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
So we had the benefit of Scenic Hudson coming to us and asking us, as well as many of the Hudson River communities, to call for the passage of this New York, New Jersey Watershed Protection Act to protect the Hudson River. We know that it would be great for all of us. So I think that it's somewhat of a no-brainer unless anybody feels differently. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Thank you.
Resolution Briarcliff Manor Partners LLC agreements, whereas as a condition of the site plan approval granted by the planning board on December 19th, 2018 to develop and operate a daycare and early child development center, Briarcliff Manor Partners LLC, the owner of the property located at 530 North State Road, is required to enter into landscape and wetland mitigation plantings, maintenance agreement, and stormwater management system maintenance and easement agreement with the town to ensure the property is properly managed and maintained in accordance with the approved plans. And now therefore be it resolved, the town board hereby authorizes the supervisor to execute the landscape and wetland mitigation plantings maintenance agreement with Briarcliff Manor Partners LLC dated March 7th, 2022. And be further resolved, the town board hereby authorizes the supervisor to execute the stormwater management systems maintenance and easement agreement with Briarcliff Manor Partners LLC dated April 1st, 2022. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion or questions? All those in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed?
Resolution 381 North Highland Avenue Battery Energy Storage System, whereas on April 27th, 2021, the town board granted a zoning map amendment application by Borrego Solar Systems Incorporated, the applicant, to construct a standalone battery energy storage system that would be used to supplement power to the local power grid at peak hours by utilizing New York State's Value of Distributed Energy Resources VDER mechanism. The proposed project on property owned by the Archdiocese of New York St. Augustine Church, located at 381 North Highland Avenue, the property. And whereas as a condition of the approval, the town board required the applicant to enter into a payment in lieu of taxes pilots, and whereas the property is currently tax exempt due to its longstanding charitable religious use, and whereas solar energy systems and battery energy storage systems are by default exempt from real property taxation under real property tax law statute 487, and whereas the town code exempts from the requirements to enter into pilot solar energy programs that have a capacity of less than 1 megawatt, and whereas the town board has been advised that the proposed project will have capacity of less than 1 megawatt. And whereas the town board finds the proposed project to be a positive contribution to the community, and now therefore be it resolved, consistent with the current tax status of the property and the town's laws regarding solar energy systems, the town board determines not to require the applicant to enter into a pilot for the proposed project, and be it further resolved, the town board reserves the right to revisit this matter and require the applicant to enter into a pilot if circumstances change such that the capacity of the proposed project exceeds 1 megawatt. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
We are happy to be continue offering incentives to build out our green infrastructure in Ossining. This is one more way we can do that for these smaller projects. So yeah, another thing, or another step in the right direction. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed?
Okay. Monthly reports. Resolved that the town board of the town of Ossining hereby accepts the following monthly reports for the months of March 2022. Dale Cemetery, tax receiver, town clerk, town supervisor, and GE helicopter.
Motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? All right, and now we are up to visitor recognition. I see a number of people in the audience. If you would like to comment, you would be accorded 1 4-minute opportunity to speak on any subject whatsoever. So please raise your virtual hands, and Victoria Caffarelli will allow you to speak in the order in which you raise your hands. Thank you to Zoom for that. Mr. London, are you still with us? I mean, I see that you're still with us, but you don't have your hand up. Are you still? Okay, now you do. All right, here's your opportunity.
Thank you very, very much. I had an hour to put together this impromptu speech. I reside on Tavano Road. That's off of 133. There's a great concern because there's talk about a development in the area. This development is supposed to take place on 68 Somerstown Road. And that is an area that was a piece of land that formerly belonged to the mansion house that all of the properties here were taken from. And that land was wetlands. And through the years, there's been a lot of corrupt activity that happened there. It's a very long story, and there are some residents who have been fighting to save that property for decades. There was illegal filling on multiple occasions. The town planning and architectural board had recognized that at our last Zoom meeting together. Anyway, the proposition now is to build a massive home. And in order to do that, there would have to be hundreds of non-porous of surface driveway placed from 68 all the way to the back of the lot, which everybody here feels is a very unsafe place to build because of the conditions, how soggy the area is. This property at one point previously was permitted was certified to be built on, but the very difficult thing to tell this board today is that it was fraudulently certified. So this property, building on this property, is such a bizarre thing because it was necessary for the house to have sprinkler systems installed because they didn't expect fire trucks to be able to make it into this back of the property because they didn't think the land would be able to support the fire trucks. I don't want to take up more than 4 minutes, and I thank you very much for listening to me. But I'm just here on behalf of the local community, asking for any assistance and any supervision and advisement that we can get, any attention that we can get about making sure that any development in this area is not hazardous to the neighbors or the environment. So I'm talking about 68 Somerstown Road, and my name is Ian London. And if you want to protect the wetlands robustly, and please contact me. My phone number is 347-720-8134. And my email is kleptoword, KLEPTOWORD @yahoo.com. And again, we're just very scared of the impact of this massive project that has never been accounted for in any past study. Thank you, Dana Levenberg.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. Appreciate your comments. I didn't get your all your phone numbers because I just didn't happen to have a pen handy, I'm sorry to say. But if you wouldn't mind maybe just sending us that information by way of email, you can send it to tc@townofaustining.com. We can certainly look more into this concern. I do believe that it's for a single family home, and I don't know if anybody wanted to comment on this and what the status is of this. If so,
If you'd like me to address it,
sure, go ahead.
So this lot was approved for a 2-lot subdivision. The application process goes back nearly 20 years. It was approved in 2003 and then reapproved again in 2014 and 2016. In accordance, not just for subdivision, they also got a wetlands permit. So these issues have been reviewed before the planning board. As a result of the subdivision approval, a conservation easement was recorded against the property, covering a large portion of the property and the wetlands that were discussed that are an issue. It's a large lot. It requires 40,000 square feet, and the lot itself is 53,000+ square feet. And it is zoning compliant in the R, I believe, I'm not exactly sure, I don't want to misspeak. I believe it's the R40 zoning where the property is located, but it is zoning compliant. The other thing is that this is really not the purview of this board. The planning board has reviewed it in the context of subdivision. It's back before the architectural review board solely for visual and aesthetic review. And that is being reviewed as we speak. They were before the planning board, excuse me, the architectural review board last week. There was a litigation challenge brought with respect to the recording of the subdivision plat with the county clerk. The Supreme Court dismissed and denied that challenge. There is an appeal that may be pending, but we have not seen anything. So as of now, the town does not have anything to say that there is not a valid recorded subdivision plat that can allow this to go forward. What I'll also say is that while this was approved for 2 lots, the applicant is currently proposing to construct 1 home on one of the lots and put the stormwater management system on the other lot, which would preclude development of the second lot, which would presumably be a benefit in less development than could otherwise be had under the subdivision that was approved. And just to address that, the past review didn't account for the project in the past study. I think I already said this has been reviewed multiple times by the planning board over several years, approved on numerous occasions. And so that's not a completely accurate statement. If there are any other questions from the board, I'm happy to answer them.
Okay, it looks like we have one more member of the public. Okay, allowed to talk. Jeannie.
When you take a look at 68 Summerstown Road, Dana, it's hard to understand how anybody would construct anything other than a houseboat, because basically, if you're looking at that lot, there's basically a pond on 3 sides. So I don't even know how they could put a shovel in the ground to try to construct something there. So I would suggest that if the planning board hasn't gone out and done a site evaluation, it seems like that would be something that would be important to do, especially in the with our commitment to wetlands management. We're not talking 1 pond, we're talking 3, and the one that neighbors it is substantial. So I can understand why the neighbors are concerned, and I don't even know how you'd actually access that property. So I don't even know how you'd put a road, because it basically transects the pond. So somebody needs to take a look at that a little bit more closely, I would think. So.
Supervisor, if you'd like.
Go ahead.
All of the development will be outside of the 100-foot wetlands buffer, and the driveway was reviewed and approved as part of the subdivision plat.
Again, this is an issue that is before the planning board. And I don't even think it is before the planning board anymore, since they have approved it as mentioned on numerous occasions. It is not, it does not come before the town board for any reason at this point. It's back through architectural review. So my suggestion would be that the next time that it comes up for discussion at the architectural review board, if you do have concerns, that you make them known to that board. Okay, and I see the same two hands up again, and I think that we have 1 4-minute opportunity to address the board, and then you can feel free to send us your additional written comment. Is there anybody who hasn't spoken who would like to address the board? All right, with that, I would ask for a motion to adjourn to executive session for advice of counsel and personnel.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Thank you so much for joining us. Please note that our town offices will be closing at 12 noon this Friday, April 15th, in observance of Good Friday. Happy Easter, happy Passover, happy Ramadan. I don't know if you say happy to all those celebrating this weekend. We'll see you soon, and hopefully I'll be back in person next time. Have a good night, everybody.